This conference will now be recorded.
Hello.
Okay. So yeah. So Microsoft Power BI.
It is clear.
Yes, Anil. Yes, Suresh. Tell me. Clear, right?
Yeah, your
Okay.
voice
Fine.
is
Thanks.
audible, and I'm saying like that.
Okay. Fine. Thanks, Suresh. Please go on mute. We'll continue this session. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can call. You can ask me. Okay. Okay. So Microsoft Power BI is a analytical reporting tool. Okay. So first, to understand Microsoft Power BI, we need to understand the concept of reporting. So that we have seen in the morning session, like what is the purpose of creating the report, how exactly reporting will plays a major role in the IT industry or in the any organization. Okay, so in the morning example we have seen. So okay, suppose assume I have a bank called Standard Chartered Bank. Okay, so let me consider an example for Standard Chartered Bank. So Standard Chartered Bank is an international bank wherein they have branches across the globe. Okay, say Standard Chartered Bank India location, Standard Chartered, say UK location. Assume there is another branch which is there in the say Australia location. Okay, Australia location of. So this is STC, Standard Chartered Bank, STC. Okay. So generally, when I say bank, the bank business hours are starting from 10 a.m. to say 6 p.m. Okay. So in banks, whatever the transactions are going to be happen, okay, all the transactions are going to be stored in a place called OLTP. Okay, OLTP systems. Okay, what do you mean by OLTP systems? So it is nothing but online transactional processing. Okay, online transactional processing. So each country wise, I'll be having some different OLTP systems. Okay, so Standard Chartered Bank is an international bank having branches across the globe, say India, UK, Australia. So we'll be having different branches obviously to store the branch related regular transactions data into that OLTP systems. We are going to maintain separate OLTP systems for each region wise. Okay, so this is the OLTP system for, this is again OLTP system for UK. This is the OLTP system for Australia. Okay, this is a right. And what about this? This is the OLTP system for India. Try to understand this. Whatever the day-to-day transactions or current transactions that we generally perform in the banks, all the transactions are going to captured under OLTP systems of that particular region. Okay, so like that, India level transactions are going to be stored under India level OLTP systems. UK level data is going to be performed and it is going to be stored in a OLTP system. So like that, in Australia, if you consider the same Standard Chartered Bank, so you'll be able to track all the kind of transactions. Okay. Now, after storing the transactions into the OLTP systems, so what could be the next system? So there is something called as OLAP system, which talks about historical data. OLAP system means online analytical processing. Okay, OLAP systems, right? So during the business hours, whatever the transactions that you are going to store into the OLTP systems, you are going to consolidate all region specific transaction level informations into a common place called as a data warehouse. Okay, so that place is called as a data warehouse. Generally, in data warehouse, we will call the process called OLAP, that is called as a online analytical processing. So this is my data warehouse. So data warehouse is a place where we are going to store huge volume of data. So generally in terms of any organizations or any banks, so this process of loading the data from oltp olap is going to be happen during the non-business hours. So what do you mean by non-business hours? So after 6 p.m. to next day 10 a.m. is going to be the non-business hours of Standard Chartered Bank. Now why we are actually doing all these things, as I told you, report will place a major role in terms of improving the sales or improving the growth of the particular company, no matter it is a banking or it is a retail or it is a customer services kind of company organization. It can be any organization. Okay, suppose as a CEO I want to understand my Standard Chartered Bank transactions and growth rate in terms of financial. Okay, so I'm a CEO of Standard Chartered Bank based out of US location. By sitting in the US location, I'll actually have to understand whether my bank, whether my bank operations and bank organizations are going in a profit way or in a loss way. Okay, how are we going to understand that? So we are going to get the data first. We are going to get the previous data or historical data of the bank. See what was my Standard Chartered Bank was doing from past 4 years. So that collective data I'm going to collect. So once we receive or once we load the data from OLTP system to OLAP data warehousing system, now my data warehousing system is having the collective information of particular Standard Chartered Bank. But here we have something called Indian, we have a currency conversion called INR. For UK, you will be having UK currency of pounds. Okay, UK currency. Okay, but if you see Australia, you'll be having Australian dollars. So you cannot straight away load entire region's data into one place as it is, because simple example, there is a currency mismatch if you load that. So to synchronize the data in between OLTP and OLAP system, we are going to perform some kind of ETL transformations. Okay, ETL transformations. So what is the purpose of ETL? What is ETL stands for? Extraction, transformation and loading. Okay, what is ETL stands for? Extraction, transformation, loading. Okay, extraction, transformation and loading, that is called ETL. So when you're trying to call ETL process, what it will try to do, it will try to extract the data from the source. What is your source? Your source is OLTP system. So it will try to extract the data from the source. It will try to apply transformation. What do you mean by transformations? Transformations means modification to the collected source data in a staging or in a private area is called as a transformation. Okay, after applying the transformation, see if you consider the current situation right now, I required a transformation to be applied on my currency related data to synchronize different currencies into a single currency. I required a currency conversion kind of transformation to be applied. So I'm going to apply that kind of transformations in the transformation called ETL area. After applying the transformations, the entire transformed data is going to be stored under a place called data warehousing. So now my data warehousing area, I have a data, transformed data is present in my data warehousing place. What is the next thing? So the next activity is by making use of this transformed data which is available in the data warehousing, I'm going to create the dashboards in Power BI. So this is my Power BI reporting. This is my Power BI reporting, wherein I'm going to utilize this particular data to design the dashboards. To design the dashboards. This is my Power BI. So this is a kind of general. See, as a high level person or kind of CEO of a company, I will not go and look for each and every transactions. Each and every transactions. What I will try to do, I will try to see a complete report of the particular organization. Okay, this complete flow, if you want to demonstrate in terms of Power BI, so let me simply open Power BI desktop. How exactly we are going to process this kind of data flow in terms of Power BI desktop, I will try to explain. Yes, whatever you're able to see. Okay, till now, do you have any questions, Suresh, Satish? Satish, Suresh, any questions till now? Okay, actually in the morning I'm not able to get a detailed idea of Power BI. Yeah, I will provide, Satish, no problem, don't worry, but try to understand the basics. Okay, yes. Now whatever the control flow or data flow that I have explained to you till now, so I'm going to implement that in a real time format. How exactly we are going to design. Okay, so whatever you're able to see is a Power BI desktop reporting. Let me show you some sample report, how to create a sample report in Power BI. So go back to your data flow. So obviously we'll be receiving the data from the source. So we are going to design the Power BI report. See, we are going to get the data from the data sources, from data sources to OLTP. So from OLTP to, we will apply the data on the ETL transformation part. So whatever the transformed data is there, that data is going to be transferred to my data warehousing or data warehousing place. Okay, so assume my source is data warehouse or OLTP systems. Okay, suppose assume, when I say source, it can be anything. So in general, if you want to understand about source, what you have to do, source means, suppose, let us say I'm running a software company, and I got a contract from State Bank of India saying, State Bank of India came to me and they have given saying, Santosh, like we need a specific application to be created, okay, for my company, for my bank. So usually, okay, the agreement has been done, everything is done, kickoff meeting is done, everything is materialized. So now SBI people has to give their customers data or their bank's data in any of the format. So what kind of that format is going to be? So that is called as your data source. So that means whatever the customer that data that the bank people or the client is giving to you is going to be treated as a data source. So when I say data source, it can be a TXT file format, it can be a CSV file format, it can be JSON format, okay, or it can be a SQL Server table format or any kind of format. So generally we receive the data from client in any of the format. Suppose, assume I have received my client data in the form of SQL Server tables. Okay, so I can assume my data source is my SQL Server. So whatever you're able to see is a Power BI desktop. Simply, first step, what I have to do, I have to connect to the data source. How to connect to the data source? Simply, I'm going for so this is my SQL Server data source. I'm just going to see, when I say data sources, what all the data sources that your Power BI can support. First, we need to understand that. So if you see this, These are all the different data sources your Power BI can support. So it can be Excel, it can be CSV, it can be TXT, it can be JSON file format, it can be XML format, it can be PDF format, it can be SQL Server database format, it can be anything. So that means, as I told you in the morning, Power BI will support 100 plus data sources. What do you mean by data source? Whatever the data that client or customer is trying to give you to implement the analytics, so that is going to be treated as your data source. So data source can be anything. It can be a txt file, it can be a csv file, it can be json file, or it can be sql server, it can be oracle, it can be anything. Okay, assume I have received the data, I mean from sql server tables format. Okay, so now let me go and select sql server as my table. Okay, sql server as my table. So here I'm going to provide the server name of the sql server. Server database name I'm going to provide. So since I've already connected, so that is actually stored in the Power BI. Okay, so this is my SQL server. So when I click on the SQL server, so this is my SQL server name. This is my SQL server. What about adventure works? Other things are there. So these are the databases which is available under SQL Server. Okay, these are the databases which is available in the SQL Server. Now, as part of implementing the first step, I have connected to my SQL Server. So I have, suppose I have some tables. So let me see. Let me take any one table. So okay, let me take any simple table. I'm just trying to connect to my. There's a table called dim customer table. Simply, I'm just trying to connect to the table. So what I'll do, when I connect it to the SQL Server database and I'm trying to import the table, I'm trying to load the table from SQL Server database to Power BI. Why I'm actually doing this? Because client has given me the input data, the data source in the form of SQL Server. Okay, so first what we have to do, we have to load the data into your Power BI. Okay, yes. We are going to explain, like, we are going to discuss each and every kind of options in our next sessions, but try to understand here. So I am able to see some first name column, middle name column, some different columns are there. Also I'm able to see male, gender column, marital status column, and yearly income column. So basically I want to understand gender wise yearly income. I'm just giving you a sample scenario. I want to understand and I want to prepare a gender wise yearly income values. Whether, so when I say gender, obviously I'll be having male and female. I want to understand whether male's yearly income is more or female's yearly income is more. I want to understand in terms of report format. So you can correlate the same example with Standard Chartered banks also. So suppose I want to create a report, which region is performing better and which region is performing poor. So similarly, I want to understand in a dim customer table, I'm able to see gender columns. Okay, I want to understand whether males are getting more yearly income or females are getting more yearly income. So I want to design. Okay, so how to design in Power BI? I will try to select any sample template, and I'm just trying to select what is my column, gender column. I'm just trying to select the gender column. Also, I want another column called yearly income column. Simply, I'm going to select the yearly. So your report is ready. See, when you highlight it, I will just try to do some basic kind of formatting. Don't worry about the formatting. Everything is going to be covered as part of our course session. But for now, For better understanding purpose, I'm just trying to give some proper coloring for this particular things. Okay. Okay, suppose if I want to increase, let me just beautify the report. Beautify the report, right? So title wise also, let me give some proper color for the title, put it in the middle. Okay, so this is a dashboard that we have created in the Power BI. So now try to verify by looking at this visual. Anybody can easily tell that who is getting the more yearly income. Can you tell me who is getting, whether males are getting more yearly income or females are getting? So by looking at the visual itself, by looking at the report itself, I can say that male is getting the more yearly income when you compare with the females. So by looking at the report, by looking at the visual itself, we'll be able to understand. So now just try to correlate the examples that I have given. As I told you, as a CEO of Standard Chartered Bank, by sitting in US location, I want to understand my Standard Chartered banks which is available across the globe. So like India region, UK region, I want to understand the kind of growth rate and financial performance of the individual countries. See, as a CEO, obviously I will not go in detail each report, each record, and I will not validate it. So someone will try to create, extract the data for past 4 years, and someone will try to create a report, and finally they are going to share this created report to your CEO of the company. So by looking at the visual, they can, I mean, he can easily identify that which location is performing better, which location is performing poor in terms of sales and in terms of growth. So by looking at that particular report, he can able to take a proper decision, maybe in terms of improving the scores, improving the sales or improving the growth. Okay, say uh, you can take a proper decision saying, okay, we are going to give, say, we are going to reduce the interest rates of Standard Chartered banks, people who are interested to take personal loans. Okay, I'm reducing the interest rate for India region for 2%. So if I reduce the interest rate of the banks, obviously people will get attracted, and that particular region level people will try to, that particular region level people will try to take the more loan. So that way the bank people will get more revenue. In that way financially they are going to increase their financial growth. So who will take this kind of decision? As a CEO or as a kind of a country head or region head is going to take. So to take any kind of decision, he should have proper parameters. Okay, he should have proper designed report. Okay, so this is how internally it is going to be happen. So they are going to design a report on their historical data, come back to your architecture data flow now. Again, see, if you see here, they are going to design a report on top of the historical data. They will try to create the report, and whatever the report that has been created in Power BI, that report is going to be sent to the country head or CEO, whoever is a right point of contact for taking the decision. Overall, if you say all these things, what makes exactly reporting, I can I mean, overall, if I can say, reporting will try to improve the decision making process. Without having proper reporting, if you're taking any decision, definitely that is not going to be given as a fruitful result. So that's where every organization should have reporting and analytics environment. How the flow will happen? So we have seen generally day-to-day transactions, how will happen, how we are going to store the day-to-day transactions into oltp systems. After that, oltp systems to olap systems, that means data warehousing system, how the data is going to be transferred. On top of transformed data, how are we going to create the reports and the dashboards? Okay, by looking at the dashboards, how can I say that dashboard or report is going to be improve the decision making process? So guys, are you clear the complete flow of the navigation? Okay, so thank you. M mail, okay. Yes, okay. So by looking at the visual itself, we can easily identify, okay, whether who is best performing or who is least performing. Okay, suppose again, I mean, if you talk about Power BI, see, Power BI is a self-based simple analytical reporting tool. So can anybody tell me, did I write any sort of code to design this report? Nothing. Simple steps. I have connected to the data source. I have loaded all that, I mean, whatever the required table that I want to my Power BI desktop. So then simply I have dragged and dropped the columns into the required area. My report is ready. I did some kind of cosmetic changes in terms of look and feel wise. If any reporting should have in terms of look and feel, high rich look and feel values, I have just given some colorings and increase the font size, kind of label size. I have given it, but rest of the things, if you see, it is simple drag and drop technique in Power BI. Okay, so rest of the things, if you see, it is simple drag and drop technique in Power BI. Satish, do you have any? Hello, Suresh. Suresh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, okay. So, do you have any questions till this point? Are you clear with? Okay. Are you clear with the concept? Like, why? What is the importance of reporting, and why do we generally people go for reporting? Without analytics, no organization will run their business. Okay. Without analytics, no organization will run any business. So that is the importance of the business. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Okay, so when you're talking about Power BI, okay, when you're talking about Power BI, what are the prerequisite we need actually? Okay, Power BI, see, as a Power BI developer, I haven't written any single line of coding. I have generated the report. Now tell me, straight away I will save this report and I will send it to the next level, I mean, to whomever actually it is required. But do you think that is the correct way of doing without validating? So that is not the correct way. So before going to send this report to anybody else in the organization, first you yourself should validate for particular scenarios whether whatever the value that is coming here on the report, is it correct value or not. So you need to validate that. So where are you going to validate that? So what is your SQL source? Your data source is going to be the SQL server. So I'm going to validate the data by connecting to the SQL server from the backend. Okay, for now, forget about what I'm writing the code. I'm going to explain everything in the DB sessions. Okay, so I'm just writing a simple select query to validate the result. Okay, so I'm just trying to validate. So I have gender column. So gender column, comma, I want to see sum of yearly income. Okay, so this is total. Forget about the coding right now, because since you're in the first session, I'm going to provide everything in the detailed sessions. Okay, I'm just trying to write a query to validate the result, whether the result is correct or not. See, for female, what is the value that you're able to see? You're able to see something like 523960000. Okay. So for female, 523960000. For male, you're able to see 535280000. So that means whatever the data is there in the source system, it is perfectly matching to my report whatever I have designed. So that means this report whatever I have designed is absolutely correct, and I can straight away go ahead and save this report, and I can share this report to the different authorities. Okay, so to do this, to validate this, one should have basic SQL knowledge. So as part of my course tenure, I'm going to provide complete basic SQL knowledge as well. Okay, so as we are discussing about Power BI, Power BI has different components. Okay, Power BI has, what are the components? We have Power BI desktop. So whatever you're able to see is your Power BI desktop. So in Power BI desktop, Power BI desktop is a place, is a is a desktop application where you are going to design the reports as per the clients or customers requirements. So once you design the requirement, once you design the reports, what is the next step? I want to send this report to, suppose, let me go back to here. Okay, yes, I have designed my Power BI report. Come back to the architecture flow. So whether I want to publish this report to cloud, or whether I want to publish the same report to report server. Okay, so it is all depends on your situation. See, I have created a report. So whether I want to submit this report to cloud or report server, it depends on the situation. That means cloud means it is an public online, you're trying to share this report. People across the globe, by sitting at any place, they're going to view the report. So that means we are just trying to move my report, created report, into different environments. That means cloud environment. Okay, now what is a report server? Report server is something, it is going to be there in your company local premises, like company server. Okay, every company will have some kind of report server. So it is up to you whether you want to keep or store this report, or to publish this report into your company premises or cloud premises. It is all depends on the situations, and it is all depends on the requirement. So as part of Power BI component, the second component is going to be your Power BI cloud services. Cloud, or you can call this as a online. So also we have Power BI report server. See, cloud and report server are the ones wherein we are going to publish the report, manage the report as per the requirement. Then there is a fourth component called Power BI mobile app. So that means once we create this report, where exactly we are going to see this report? So you can view this report into your mobile applications, into your personal computers, also into your desktops, personal computers, mobiles, also into tabs. Okay, so that kind of managing related activities, if you want to see the same created report in Power BI mobile app, how are you going to create and manage, is everything is going to be discussed as part of Power BI mobile app. So overall, if you see, most of the coding, like your entire coding as per the requirement, like 85% of coding is going to be done in, I mean, Power BI desktop. The rest of the things, Power BI cloud, report server, mobile app, whatever the report that you have been created, how are you going to manage the report? How are you going to publish this report to the different environments? It is going to be decided based on the situations, based on the customer requirement. So this is the complete flow. So as part of our course, I'm going to cover all this. Other than this, I'm going to cover first basic SQL. Also, people nowadays asking interview questions on something called SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Services. Okay, in this they are asking questions on tabular modeling. Okay, so what is a tabular modeling? What is SSAS analysis service? What exactly we will do in SSAS analysis? Everything I'm going to explain in the sessions. So finally, I'm going to cover the last thing called basic Azure knowledge, basic Azure concept knowledge. So this is a complete 2 hour, 2 months period I'm going to cover. Okay, so till now, any questions, Satish? Or we can say Power BI desktop is a BI developer. Power BI cloud is a admin. So it is not like, admin, anybody, even developer can also can publish the report and can manage the report in cloud environment, but one should have cloud account. See, simple example for this, we have we have Google Drive. Okay, so Google Drive, what is the purpose of Google Drive? See, people whoever is having a Gmail accounts, they will have a clear access to the Google Drive. So that means they can store their data into the Google Drive, and they can manage, they can upload, they can download, they can delete, they can share, everything they can do. So all this kind of managing process is going to be done in the Google Drive. Similar kind of thing, it is going to be there in the Power BI cloud. Okay, once you publish, once you create and publish the report into your local desktop, once you publish to Power BI cloud account, how are you going to manage? Okay, how are you going to share the report to other users? What are the limitations? What are the certain mandatory conditions? Okay, if any customizations is required even in the cloud environment, how are you going to design? How are you going to design the dashboards? Everything is going to be discussed as part of cloud. So somewhat similar to admin is called as Power BI report server. So that means whatever the reports that we generate or design in our local systems, we are going to place that reports in the company server, so that in a project, suppose you have 10 people's, 10 developers are working, I have created my report and I have placed that report under company server. So people across the project, people across the company will be able to view and will be able to modify that particular report. So that is the concept, how to manage, how to modify, how to provide the securities, all things we are going to discuss as part of Power BI report server. So any questions, Suresh, Satish? You can unmute and you can ask your questions.
Sir, previously you told that how to verify the data by using the,
Yes.
if it is a data source from the SQL server, we can go back to the SQL server and pressing the query and we can find it, the verify the data. But if it is a other file,
Yes.
like text file or CSV file, how can we verify, sir?
Yeah, that is also, yeah, that is also you can verify. Yeah, that is also, see, it is not mandatory. See, if suppose right now I don't have a proper scenario, you can verify per, see, right now in the report, you're able to see only two criteria. It is not mandatory to validate all the data. Even if you validate for any one particular scenario, that is more than enough. Okay, even if it is
Okay.
a Excel format also, even if you validate for, see, if you are able to see on the report, say 1,000 entries, 1,000 different kinds of data, it doesn't mean you need to validate all. At least if you be able to validate for one or two scenarios, if it is matching, that should be more than enough. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
that also we are going to cover, like how to extract the data, how to extract a live data to Power BI report. That means we have some website data is there, so I'm going to extract, like how to extract the live data to your Power BI reports for analytics purpose. Everything is going to be covered as part of our course. And how to extract JSON data, how to extract XML data, everything we are going to cover. But since it is a demo session, if I'm explaining all these things, then you'll have some confusion. So let us have a clear understanding on what is reporting, what is the purpose of reporting, what makes reporting will give a proper advantage for an organization. Okay, when I say reporting, what kind of reportings are there? In the morning we have discussed the traditional reporting systems and advanced reporting systems. Okay, so all these things. So after learning Power BI is a advanced reporting analytical system. So if I learn Power BI, so what is the scope of this, scope of it? I think in the morning I have showed you, I've already explained you about this. So let me go back to this again. uh,
Not
See,
chat.
yeah, Gartner chart. So if you see, so this is the Gartner chart for 2020. Okay, so try to see in the market, where are we in terms of Power BI? So it is in the leading position. Tableau is far distance. Okay, this is as of January 20. So basically, Gartner is a company, as a person who will do this kind of analysis on a quarterly basis. On a quarterly basis, if you see, this is for 2019. See, 2019. Okay, so like that, every quarter they used to do some kind of analysis on which tool is performing better. And what I mean by tool means, most of the projects, most of the companies, which reporting tool people are using, they are going to conduct some survey, and they are going to publish finally this report. People across the globe will follow this Gartner's chart. So as I told you in the morning, so if I'm going for Microsoft, why Microsoft product, why not Tableau? So I've explained in the morning, if I'm purchasing for any mobile or anything, so we basically look for more. I need more features, I need less
Less
cost,
cost.
I need, I need service, I need brand. So everything is covered under Microsoft. Okay,
Sir, when it was
so
released,
you
sir?
can, it is like 2015, 2014, 15 onwards they have released, but actual implementation started implementing the projects in 2017 onwards. So it is actually good that people, if you learn right away, the scope of the Power BI is going to be tremendous in terms of you know for next, if you say, if you next consider about, say, next 20 years plan. Okay, so this
Okay.
Gartner chart, people across the globe will follow. It is not, even Santosh follow or AIM Technologies follows. So this is a chart which globally will follow, people will follow. Okay, so that's all about a demo session. So for demo session, don't understand too much, try to understand the reporting flow. Why reporting? What is the use of reporting? When do we go for reporting? How reporting is going to be impacted on the current IT industry or any organization? That is point one. After that, what are the different types of reporting systems are there, traditional and advanced? So why Power BI, why not others? Okay, so all these things, first try to understand that. So after that, what are the prerequisites are there, what is the scope? If I learn this, everything is going to be covered. So since it is the first session,
Basic
I'm not going to cover, yeah, everything.
basic SQL is enough, sir, or deep dive into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
SQL
basic.
is required?
Yeah, no, I'm going to cover entire basic SQL with core concepts. Okay,
Okay, okay.
so to wind up the session, so myself, I'm Santosh Kumar. I have 16 years of MNC IT experience. I have worked on most of the technologies, like Power BI, Oracle BI Publisher, SQL Server, Reports, Informatica, SQL, PL SQL. Also, I worked on Azure also. Right now, in the current implementation, I'm working on even Microsoft Azure projects. Microsoft
Sir,
Azure
what are
BI.
the job roles in Power BI? Power BI developer or Power BI architect or Power BI admin, like this?
Report design, report designing. Okay, see,
Report
if you see
design.
here, Good question. See, if you see report designing as per the client requirement, also if situation comes, you should be able to modify or modify the architecture. Okay. Suppose I have created Suresh. Okay. So I want to see the modeling for this. So simply go and click here. See, modeling will be automatically taken care by Power BI desktop. Okay. Suppose simply if I want to explain what I will try to do, I will try to see, since you have asked the question, so I'm just trying to select some list of tables. Okay. Let me select some list of tables. So dim customer, dim date table, dim customer table, dim geography table, dim product table, dim product category, dim product subcategory. So I'm just trying to select few tables to demonstrate with you. See, as a Power BI developer, we are not going to design the modeling in Power BI desktop
Database.
90%. 90%. See, the modeling activity has been taken care by your Power BI itself. See,
Okay.
see, just I
Yes.
have extracted this, but see, modeling already automatically will be created by desktop. I'm saying you 90% Power BI will take care the modeling, but in 10% there are rare situations wherein you need to customize the modeling in terms of, say, today you have created some modeling, tomorrow for a new requirement you have created a new table. So when you extract that new table, you are going to establish the connection manually. So that 10% activity is there. In the course of tenure, I'm going to cover even how to customize the modeling also. I'm going to cover in detail, but 90% we are not going to customize the modeling is going to be taken care by Power BI desktop automatically. Okay. So, okay,
But
Satish,
can
do
you
you
see
have
the
any
chat
questions?
once?
Okay, so 'cause I came from mechanical background. Presently, I don't know anything about Power BI and SQL Server. Regarding basic fever, I want to know how about Power BI job role in company. So that's what, Power BI is leading in the market in terms of opportunities also. Only thing is you should have basics SQL knowledge, and Power BI should be more than enough for you to continue, Satish. Okay. So in the course tenure, I'm going to explain complete core basic knowledge on SQL also. Okay. Any other questions, Suresh? Okay. Okay. So if you don't have anything, so since it is a first session, let us not, go in detail on each and everything. Okay.